Grand Rising Loungers. I hope everybody is doing as great as I am this morning. Listen, guys, there's a couple of different changes today. I will not be able to do the TikTok story for Rev G today. I'm gonna go ahead and push that to Sunday. Sunday would be a very appropriate time to have this discussion based off of who I will be interviewing on Sunday. So I'm gonna be having that conversation along with the interviewee. So we will go ahead and get into the Rev G TikTok stuff as of Sunday. I do not have time, unfortunately, this evening to get into that, okay? And that's the reason I'm kind of going live this morning, because in a little bit, I'll actually start working, and I'm going to be working pretty much through the evening. So I'm not going to have the time to do this today with Rev G, but I am going to be moving that video to Sunday, okay? So I did already reschedule it for Sunday at 5 p.m. That looks like roughly around that time. So depending on when the interview is over, which starts at 3 p.m. Eastern time, if it's over before that, then, fine, we'll start right away. If it's over after that, then, we'll start later, okay? But I'm tentatively looking at around 5 p.m. Eastern on Sunday to talk about the Rev G TikTok, okay? And I'm also waiting on another receipt for that as well. So it's kind of like a good thing that I had to push that back today. But this morning, we are going to get into a video that I did on March the 24th, 2022. It was called A Walk in Our Shoes, ladies. And many of the ladies from the sector hit the panel that day, okay? And we had a very, very interesting conversation with Breaking the Culture of Silence. I'm going to play that entire conversation, not the full video or anything like that, because, that's really not necessary. But there is some very important parts in this conversation that I think is necessary to not only see, but also to hear, okay? When I say see, I'm talking about the comments that were in the comment section. I'm talking about the everything, okay? The comments that I highlighted, all kinds of stuff is in, all kinds of gems are in this, okay? Shout out to KKC, who definitely came up yesterday, provided some bombshells in regards to the Social Security Administration. Also, when we talked about what happened with Breaking the Culture and how she was a part of the doxing of people within our sector, okay? So we are definitely going to get into that. Make sure you guys do hit the like button on the way in. Now, before I get into that, I wanted to show you guys this funny video that I saw on Lady Snoop's channel today, okay? So shout out to y'all. I just got the final receipt on the TikTok show. So shout out to that person. I truly, truly appreciate you for the receipt. I am going to put that up and make sure that we use this to enter into the docket in regards to Rev G. But this will be on Sunday, guys, okay? As long as a miracle doesn't happen today, then I'm looking to do this on Sunday. But, work comes first for me. I don't play about my money. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and do tonight. But either way, let's go ahead and get into this funny video that I saw on Lady Snoop TV show. I'll put a link to her channel in the chat. That way you guys can go over and subscribe, okay? But let me go ahead and share my screen with you guys real quick. All right, let's go ahead and play it, guys, real quick.
Breaking protocols. Please stick to the handbooks and the training you're used to. I see you stealing printer paper, think you won't get caught, but I will report you. File a claim. You got a laceration, file workers' compensation. You should file a claim. Please log out before you go. Protect sensitive company info. These are places not to pat my neck, my back. These
all right, guys. All right. That's enough from HR. Now on to finance. Money.
Go.
Listen, shout out to Lady Snoop. That was freaking hilarious. Okay, I am definitely going to put her link in here so you guys can go ahead and check her out. She is hilarious. She's funny anyway. But that video was just hilarious, guys. And I saw that in the beginning of the morning, like when I first kind of turned on YouTube and just was looking around, and I happened to see that, and that was just hilarious, guys. Okay, so anyway, make sure you guys go over and subscribe to her. Let me go ahead and put her channel up here. Hold on one second. And I will acknowledge you guys in the chat too. I apologize, guys. I know this is not my usual time where I've been going live lately, but so I'm not on my game that much. But hey, Triggs, I appreciate you being in the building. Beautiful Bernice, sis, I appreciate you as well. Steph Collins, sis, I appreciate you as well. Okay. Now, everybody that's in the clouds, I appreciate you guys as well. We are going to get into this stuff, and I'm going to tell you guys, okay, I'm going to add a portion of this to the Vixen Chronicles as well. We're going to go ahead and just make sure that this is not only on the AFW Survivor Series podcast, which has now been made into a podcast, but we are going to put this particular episode on the Vixen Chronicles as well to just go into the docket as far as evidence against her. Because this chick is nuts, okay? And a lot of the puzzle pieces just kind of came together for me yesterday. I know that you guys probably, some of y'all definitely knew. I can say Keeper knew. I can say Money to Burn knew. There were many people that knew what the heck was going on with breaking the culture of silence based off of, the past history of things that have happened with her, okay? We are definitely going to get into this today, all right, and talk about these things and just kind of pay attention to what was being said in the chat as well as what was being said on the panel, okay? Let's go ahead and start off right now. I'm not going to be highlighting the comments. It's kind of going to go along with the same documentary style that we're doing because this is going to go into the docket of someone who works with the AFWs directly, okay, and has been using various systems within the New York State system and stuff like this in order to dox people within our sector, okay? So let's go ahead and get into this now. Again, make sure you guys do hit the like button on the way in. Let's get started, guys.
You could just completely try to bash my name in so that when I finally did talk, that whatever I said, people would be side-eyeing me. And the thing is that it don't really matter with the sector thing, but the people that I know certain things about, and those are the people that really would matter. And they would know if I'm telling the truth or not. It would be another Nikki situation. You're the one that was worried about people being recorded. You know, Sultan dragged her ass about it.
Know when I'm gonna do another live. Let's get messy for a second. Breaking has a file. This is how obsessive this motherfucker is. Breaking has files and Dropboxes on everybody. But, if you listen to her talk, you can believe it. She actually saves recordings on a lot of motherfuckers in the sector. She puts them on files. She puts them in Dropboxes on clouds. She got one on everybody. She got one on I. She got one on. Probably got one, tried to get one on me. She got one on Anti. She got one on several people in the sector. Several people in the motherfucking sector. Y'all don't believe me? I like to show receipts. I'm not going to show anybody's shit in the sector, but Little Knockout Media got one too. And I don't give a shit about him. He ain't in our sector. So here you go, folks. And y'all know that ain't mine because I don't watch that motherfucker. That's one of a few things that I got from this break-in. And she does have one on Anti. Now, if you don't believe me, click on that shit. And
I'll tell you why I say it's worse. I'll say this. I'll tell you why. So I've had CPS called on me, right? And I've had ACS called on me, CPS called on me, BTCP, whatever the fuck you want to call it.
No one reached out to her kid. Nobody now granted, do I know who her and her children and her entire family is? Absolutely. I know who your brother is. I know who your mom is. I know who your dad is. I know who your siblings are. I know who your aunts and uncles are. I know who your kids are. Of course I know I know your bitch. I know where you work. I know where you live. I know what your shifts are. What do you want to know? What do you want me to tell you that I know?
She has shifts. Oh, you mean like? Oh, I see. So she
bitch,
works once a day.
In. I know when you clock out. I sure do. I know your entire. I know who you are. Why wouldn't I know who you are? I did my research.
Because he really been out here being messy, and that ain't even half of what I. That ain't even nothing. Like on some real shit. Him recording propane ain't shit. It's way worse shit. I'm just curious to see if he gonna tell it himself. Because he really been out here being messy, and that ain't even half of what I. That ain't even nothing. Like on some real shit. Him recording propane ain't shit. It's way worse shit. I'm just curious to see if he gonna tell it himself. Because he really been out here being messy, and that ain't even half of what I. That ain't even nothing. Like on some real shit. Him recording propane ain't shit. It's way worse shit. I'm just curious to see if he gonna tell on himself.
Okay, guys. So thank you guys for your patience with that. I just wanted to kind of like preference the story with how we have gone through things, because we're kind of working backwards with this now. Okay, there's a lot of stuff that has now come out in regards to breaking the culture, aka Andrea Garrison. Okay, I have an entire series on her called The Vixen Chronicles. I do have that in podcast form as well, and you guys can go over and take a look and listen. There's multiple other videos within that playlist. However, the Vixen Chronicles has about 5 videos on it that highlight her multiple many crimes, the many things in regards to breaking the culture that we have uncovered. And she's pretty much been put in the dirt over here on Black Lounge Divine. Okay. I pretty much try not to deal with her that much. I do every now and then throw little shots at her. And all of this was for her attacking my son and my daughter. So, for that reason is why I had to put that chick in the dirt. I have no problem continuing to do that. And I have much more information on this chick, way more than she would ever imagine that I have. So I think she's caught on to that. I'm not 100% sure yet. She's been talking a little bit of trash lately, but she took it down before I could actually see it. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with her. But whenever something like this is coming up in regards to what's going on with this actual situation that we're talking about now, which is surviving the AFWs, we're going to bring it up, okay? And unfortunately, she has played a major role in a lot of this stuff that has taken place with the AFWs and a lot of people that have been doxxed within the sector. Apparently, and I'm going to look at this message right here. Shout out to both KKC as well as Nobody Cares, Work Harder, Glorion, and some others. I'm going to mention Keeper and some other people. But, I'm just going to say this. Research that when she was working for New York State Department of Labor, okay, Breaking the Culture has held a couple of jobs. She's one of those people that cannot hold a job very long. But when she does get a job, she's kind of diabolical in the job or within the job, okay? So there's various things that she was looking up through these people's systems and then giving this information to Anti. I was told this a long time ago. I'm not going to lie to y'all. I'm not even going to pretend that I was not told this stuff, okay? Those that told me, they know, okay? But I'm the kind of person, as you guys know, I will give somebody the benefit of the doubt. I need to find out for myself who a person is, okay? Unfortunately, I found out the hard way about Breaking the Culture, And I did have to, make you get this chick off of me, okay, by creating an entire series on her. And the series is public. The series is real. There's 100% evidence in everything that's in that series and so forth, and it just is what it is. But for a long time, I did not believe that she actually had such a job, okay? And it was just based off of the kind of person that I believed that she was, right? I never would have thought that she had such a job. I never would have thought that she was even involved in doing stuff like this until I knew, right? And now, all of this stuff has come together. I was asked for this video maybe about a year ago, and I actually made it public again because I privated this video a long time ago. But I made this video public again only for the sake of this person who wanted to look at this particular receipt that we're going to be playing today. At the time, I really didn't have the time to kind of look into that much. I was dealing with the rest of the Vixen Chronicles and other things that were going on with that. But now, after looking back into this, it's like, damn, this is damning. Okay, this is damning and it's shocking. And I should have put this in the Vixen Chronicles. So I am going to put this in there. But we are going to also make this a part of the Survivor series, okay? Because this is directly connected to Anti and directly connected to the AFW's history of doxing people in our sector, okay? Doxing people's jobs and different things like this for no reason, okay? And using minions such as her to do this kind of stuff, okay? So let's go ahead and get into it now. Again, make sure you guys do hit the like button on the way in. I'm going to remove myself from the stage, and then I'm going to just let this play out. But I do have the commentary up on purpose, okay? Because I kind of want you guys to see what's on the screen. I may come back every so often just to discuss some of that. Let's go ahead and get started.
You did, T-Free.
Hey, ladies.
Hey.
Hi.
No, it's fine. I don't mind. It's fine.
Okay. It's good.
When she was younger, so if men see the division, it's because it's manipulation. Because she's willing, men play on simple-minded females all the time, and so a lot of the men in the sector play on her. And now that women are speaking up, and they're stronger-minded women in the sector, they have a problem with it, and that's all I'm seeing. So
I agree. Hold on, guys. Breaking the Culture of Silence, thank you for joining the panel. I really appreciate you being on tonight. I hope you didn't want to remain anonymous, because I definitely said your whole name just now. But
yes, you did, T-Free.
Hey, ladies.
Hey.
Hi.
No, it's fine. I don't mind. It's fine.
Okay. It's good to have you on the show. And definitely with you being the conversation, I certainly wanted you to have an opportunity to be on the panel, of course, and speak your speech on all of this. You don't have to, say anything if you don't want to, of course. You don't owe anybody any explanations about nothing. But I want to give you your props and your flowers for knocking that bird bitch out the fucking nest, because I really don't like the bitch. Now, keep in mind, guys, just some quick commentary real quick to catch you up to speed for those who didn't know. We're actually talking about Stargate in this video. There was a video, the infamous The Ghetto, okay, where Conscious TV played our sector over in their sector, okay, where Stargate was going back and forth with Breaking the Culture on the panel. She kept calling Breaking the Culture a whore and saying, that, which is stuff that's actually true, okay? Stargate was 100% correct about everything she was saying. She was just wrong about who she was talking about. So she was bringing the wrong receipts to the right party, basically, okay? None of us, though, well, not none of us, some of us did know that these were facts, okay? People like Let Me See Your Transcript, and some other people, Glorion, Keeper, there were some other people, Tiff P, there were some other people that really did know that these were true about Breaking, that she is an actual known prostitute, that, there are things that have gone on with her. However, we didn't know this. Most of us really didn't know, right? We thought Stargate was just talking out the side of her mouth, didn't know what she was talking about. And, and then Dee Durrell basically got into this whole thing with Breaking the Culture. Now, Breaking, you guys will hear her in this video claimed that Dee Durrell had been harassing her for years, right? Or months or something like that, which has turned out to be unfounded and not true, okay? But she definitely put out there all this stuff about Dee Durrell. They were going back and forth because Dee Durrell did make a video about her, and he kind of jumped out the window and snapped on breaking, okay? And a lot of us women were a little cringe about it, on top of some other things that were being talked about around the sector, okay? So ultimately speaking, this is what this conversation is surrounding, okay? So I wanted to make that clear so that everybody kind of understands who we're talking about, what we're talking about, and why. And so at this point is when I first introduced Breaking the Culture to the panel. It was about 56 minutes into the conversation, okay? Let's go ahead and continue with this. I just wanted to give you guys some background on that. So thank you for that.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, and that's the thing. And I didn't even want to have to do that because that was even just weird for me. Well, first, I want to say thank you to you and to Carrie Ann and to everybody else that did stand up for me, because you guys didn't have to, but you did. And it's not common for women to stand up for women. But my issue was, like, when it came to Star, her just blatantly lying on me for no reason. It's just weird. Like, I don't know you. I've never done anything to you. I've never had a conversation with you. And then to try to lie and manipulate the situation and say that she only said that because I said that she was sus for entertaining men. I'm like, that's BS, because you actually said this about me on Binary's channel a while back. And you said it on another woman's channel a while back. I just never addressed you because I didn't even know who you were. So I just ignored it. But for her to do that, and then when Dee Durrell did what he did, it was like months and months and months of buildup. And I genuinely never did anything to that man. Like, nothing. I've never slandered him. I've never called him names. I've never mocked him. I've never nothing. I've pretty much stayed out of the drama when he would get into it with people from my sector. I stayed out of it. So to constantly be called a bunch of whores and sluts and prostitutes, and then for him to go as far as he did the other day, like, people were like, oh, she's just mad because he called her ugly and skinny. And it's like, I'm not ugly, so that doesn't bother me. And I am skinny, so that doesn't bother me. You know, I know what I look like. That wasn't where I had the issue. It went from you're ugly and skinny to you're a throat goat, you're a whore, you sleep with people, you do this, you do that, and just completely sexually harassed me. And he's been doing it, and I never address him. Like, he's been doing this for months, and he deleted a lot of videos that he made of me, and it was unwarranted. Like, I genuinely didn't do anything to this man. Never had a conversation with him. I was on one panel with the man one time. I was addressing another woman in the sector who I'm being accused of sexualizing and sexually harassing, which you can't harass someone who's harassing you for 2 years straight. You just can't. Like, I was harassed by this woman for 2 years straight, and I didn't say a word. Like, publicly, I was silent for 2 years. I went radio silent on her, didn't say anything. And when I finally do stand up for myself, I'm sexually harassing her. No. This woman has been sexually harassing me for 2 years, as well as physically stalking me. Like, I have court documentation. I have paperwork from the police. I have a letter from my landlord.
Now, I was able to break my lease. We have proven this to be a lie. Okay, all of these things that she said about, and she was talking about, let me see your transcript. Okay, these all have been debunked. She is 100% lying. She has never taken let me see your transcript to court for anything. The same damn thing that she accused let me see your transcript of, and said that, you know, she was trying to serve her and trying to get her served and all this stuff. She said the same things about me, y'all. Okay, at this point. And no, this woman has never brought anybody to justice, because she knows as soon as she walks into a courtroom, they're going to lock her ass up because she has so many felonies on her. It's not even funny, okay? But we're going to go ahead and keep going. I just wanted to debunk that. Keep in mind, this was almost 2.5 years ago when she told us this story, okay? And yeah, she was lying through her teeth, okay? She never took let me see your transcript to court. Never took her for anything. There's no paperwork. There's no letters. There's nothing. She has never produced a single solitary tangible receipt about this woman. Let's go ahead and keep going, guys. I just wanted to make that very clear.
Because these people were swatting me to the police, to where the police was coming to my house all the time. Like, I went through pure hell for 2 years and said nothing. So D Darrell, for me, that was just it was my final straw. I was just fed up.
And I would like to add, because I just want to be clear.
Now I want y'all to notice.
Maybe
Glorion,
he's listening. I know. I
want y'all to notice the chat. Glorion puts up the clapping emojis. Okay. Shout out to my baby Glorion. She put up the clapping emojis for this chick. Like, encore. Okay, that was a heck of a show that you just put on for us. Glorion was very well aware of who this woman is. Okay. Now let's go ahead and keep going.
Speak for myself. We don't know you. And yes, we spoke on what you said. And when I say I'm saying this coming from me, because remember, I didn't hear the video. So I feel like as a woman, right? If you're telling me, and the other ladies on the panel said what they heard, meaning they're going to, they agree with you that it is sexual harassment. I don't think it's fair for the men to say, oh, the women in the sector, oh, y'all letting the outsider come in, you just propping her up, everybody's on her team going against. It's not that. It's simply a matter of, because that's why I asked you questions yesterday. Well, when did this happen? Because I don't know, right? I think that's only fair.
Right.
I'm going to ask you.
No, that's true. Yeah.
So me asking you questions that pertain to exactly what we were talking about yesterday, again, I would think that's what they would want us to do, right? So we're not just sitting pointing the finger saying, yes, you did that. Yes, you did it. We believe her. We're simply saying, yo, if that's what happened and it is what it is, then we don't agree with it. That's all.
Well, and they're looking at it the wrong way, because it's not about taking sides. It's not even saying that he's a bad guy. I'm not even saying that he's a bad guy. I don't know the man. But I do know that what he did to me for months and months and months, unprovoked. It wasn't like I was going back and forth with this man. It wasn't like I was making videos and dragging him and he just wild out on me. No, like, I can genuinely say, and I'll wait for anyone, just like Star, to provide receipts that I attacked the woman that they're saying that I sexually harassed. Show me where I attacked her first. Show me where I back to this woman for 2 years after she berated me for 2 years. I mean, I'm talking pure hell I went through. Like,
now,
pure
hold on,
hell.
y'all.
Like, I'm not exaggerating.
She is exaggerating because she said the same thing about me. She did the opposite. She was the one that was doing this to her, okay? And she ended up getting dragged, okay, by Daryl Moore and multiple people over in the church sector because they know how much of a whore and a liar this woman is, okay? Even Larry Reed was dragging this whore at one time because he knows how much of a whore, a church whore, and a liar this woman really is, okay? So, no, she's lying. And like Trigg said, she actually tried to get Triggs to do a receipt show on Let Me See Your Transcript, but never would send any receipts, okay? She asked me to do the same thing, but she never would send me any receipts, okay? Like, literally, never. It was always an excuse every single time. Let's go ahead and keep going. And thank you for the Cash App. I do appreciate that. Truly appreciate that. Let's go ahead and keep going, though.
I'm not making it up. It's public record what she did to me.
No,
we can provide receipts. I can provide audios, clips, police reports, letters from landlords, neighbors able to provide. Like, it was bad. And then for D Darrell to jump on her bandwagon and continue what she did to me because I decided to speak up, just like he did with Star, it's like, it's not okay. And you guys don't just get to go around bullying me because you don't like the way that I look, because you're jealous of who I am, or it's like, I didn't do anything to you guys. I have a right to decide that I don't want to deal with someone, which is what I did to that one person. I just said I didn't want to deal with stalking people. I have a right to say that. You don't get to harass me because I don't want to be a participant in you doing something that landed y'all in federal court anyway. So I clearly wasn't lying about what happened because they both ended up in federal court behind
lies.
it. So
it's the lies that she told with this, guys. It's the lies that she told in this story. Daryl Moore, as everybody famously knows now, has been the only one in court with Larry Reed, and Larry Reed has not continued to pursue this. He's tried to play around with it and play games with it, but he hasn't really pursued it as much as he could because he knew that there would be damning information that would come out about him had he continued to pursue Daryl Moore. So Breaking the Culture is lying once again. He never took Let Me See Your Transcript to court, and none of them took her to court. So we'll go ahead and wait. We've been waiting, 4 or 5 years now on those receipts? Let's go ahead and keep going. Let's keep going.
Larry Reed took them both to court. So it's like, I didn't make up anything. I didn't do anything to these people. I just stood up for myself. And I have a right to do that. And people were looking at it like it's sides or you're putting someone on a pedestal. I don't want to be put on a
pedestal. She didn't stand up for herself. She was lying on these people. She was on a smear campaign against these people. She tried to say that Daryl Moore had there was an N-word plot against him for claiming that he wanted to, the N-word Larry Reed, okay? And she was the one that was directly behind that, orchestrating that. She's a liar. It's just nuts.
Pedestal for being sexually harassed. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be up here explaining how I want
you guys to pay attention to this comment that I just highlighted. It says, it's about standing up for what's right. No matter who your friends are, check your friends when they're wrong, period. Okay? Now, Glorian was talking about AAS and how Breaking the Culture was a friend of Anti-Afro. She had made that clear to the sector at this point, and you guys will hear her talking about this in this video.
I'm having to deal with a guy who's sexually harassing me. Like, no one, I don't find that funny. I don't find it cute. I don't find it a kiki. It's not about sides. It's about right and wrong. It's not to say you can't talk to him. It's not to say you can't be his friend, but you're supposed to be able to call people, especially if we're friends. We should be able to call each other on our BS. Like, what he did was wrong. What she did was wrong. And what Star did.
I had highlighted, Spottum said, can we get those receipts? Okay. So that's what he said on there. And let's go ahead and keep going.
What's wrong?
Spottum, you were definitely a very valuable gem in this video. Let's go ahead and keep going.
Oh, it was wrong. There's no way around it. If I had done something to him, prove that I did it.
Right. Exactly. So now you know how I feel or what I've been going through with AAS and her bullshit.
Well, see, and that's the thing. I can't even say that because I genuinely, one, I don't even know who's talking. And two, when it comes to AAS, I told AAS from the beginning, when she and I became cordial, I made it very clear. When it comes to things that is going on in your sector, I don't know anything about it. Don't try to get me to know anything about it. I don't really want to know anything about it. I don't know anything that's going on in this sector. I don't know who half of the people are. I've heard a lot of things. Different people have said a million different things to me, but I can't make a judgment on something that I don't know. Just like I wouldn't expect you.
I don't think you should be on trial for what AAS has done. And I want to stop and say this real quick, guys, okay? At the time, I really did feel like this, okay? I really did not want, because I wasn't really fully aware of what was going on with Breaking the Culture, okay? A couple of us had the same sentiments. We really did not want to put her on trial for anti-ish, not realizing how interconnected she was with the AFWs right at this very moment, okay? Not realizing that she had infiltrated our sector and was under the guise of Let Me See Your Transcript had done something to her, and D. Darrell had done something to her, not knowing that Anti actually sent her as an agent within our sector to go after various people, okay? Let's go ahead and keep going, though. I just wanted to make that clear that, that's what my sentiments were at the moment.
No, I'm not putting her on trial. What I'm saying is,
I didn't take it that. I didn't even take it that she said it that way. I
understand how you feel, and I'm saying that's how I feel with her and her stalking, and the fact that she does not respect boundaries.
Yeah, because she definitely doesn't.
And I can say this, and I didn't take that as her putting me on trial for, because every time, any panel I go on, people, they ask me this question. And again, I understand that when you associate yourself with people, sometimes you do have to, sometimes when you associate yourself with people, you know, you pick up their baggage. And I'm a big girl, you know what I mean? I understand that and I respect that.
The premise of me saying that is not for you ladies. It's really because this show is public. And I don't want people to start narratives. You understand what I'm saying? Because that's another part of this problem is that, you know, when you say one thing, they take a soundbite and then they create an entire story and narrative over that. And next thing you know, people are in Thailand and all kinds of shit and nobody, you know, none of that shit happened. So.
Oh, you're Nikki. Someone I see the comment section. So you're Nikki. Okay, hi Nikki.
Hi, what's good with you?
I will say this to you guys. As far as the ladies,
that, right?
I genuinely don't know.
That. I'm going to mute that real quick. The way that she just said, "Oh, so you're Nikki. Hi, Nikki." You know, like she didn't know or heard of Nikki before from Anti-Afro Svengali. Okay, she was very aware of who Nikki was at this very moment. She was very aware. Let's go ahead and keep going.
The story between you guys, I actually do tell her to keep me out of it. Like, don't tell me anything about people. Like I had said to Carrie Ann just the other night on her panel, and people are like, you know, AAS is going to be upset that you're here. And like I said to Carrie Ann, I'm like, listen, I'm an adult. I don't let anyone tell me who I can and can't talk to. She's honestly never told me not to talk to anybody. I don't know everybody's experience. Our communication isn't, I don't even think it's what people.
Hold on one second. Thank you guys for holding 1 second. Thank you, Yollywood News. I appreciate that. Yes, you can absolutely use this material if you'd like to. I know that you are trying to use this to spread the word in other spaces. So thank you for that. And I do appreciate that. Yes, you can use that. And I believe I have their permission to do that. Let me just make sure. But yeah, for as far as I'm concerned, you can. But I will ask them for sure. And then I'll get back and let you know. Okay. And I do appreciate you for spreading this word. Thank you. Let's go ahead and keep going, guys.
I think it is either. She and I connected based on another YouTuber, which I'm not going to put her name out there because she's not on trial right now either. I'm saving her for tomorrow night. But she and I connected because AAS saw what this woman had did to me. Like, it was actually pretty bad what this woman did to me. I don't know what AAS did to you guys. I can't speak on that because I genuinely just don't know. And I'm not going to build an opinion on something that I don't know because I wouldn't expect you to do it, you know, for me because you don't know. But that's how we connected, was because she saw what this person was putting me through. And it was actually pure hell. Like, it's not even an exaggeration to what this woman did to me. Like, sending letters to my fiance's house, contacting my mother.
See, that's
like,
the part I have a problem with real quick.
It was bad.
That's the part that's, it's cringy to me because oh gosh, because we know who you're talking about. And the same way you don't want to talk about AAS, right? I just like to stay on topic personally.
Yeah, and I understand that. And I understand that. I respect that. But I was just saying, I was basically mentioning this person to say that basically D-Derail had piggybacked when I started to
finally we'll definitely
we got it.
Right.
Like I said, and I said this as part of the rules. One of the things that I'm doing is I want to make sure that I have the permission of people that allowed me to use their content, as well as the people that donated their own interviews, you know, and their own experiences to this. I just want to make sure, just out of respect for them, that they, you know, that they don't mind that. I'm pretty sure they won't. I'm just going to ask them though, you know, just out of respect, because they gave me the respect of letting me use that information. So, but thank you very, very much for the accolades. I truly appreciate that. I'm not highlighting a lot of comments. I don't know if you know that, but I'm not highlighting a lot of comments just because of the documentary series of this, the documentary nature of this series. So that's just what I'm doing with that. But you are acknowledged, and thank you very much for what you're saying. I appreciate it. Let's go ahead and keep going, guys.
It's not to drag her, right? It's not to drag her. Don't get me wrong. It's not.
Right. That's your point of entry into
this, and I wouldn't do that to you. Right. It was
because we've all seen it. We've seen it before breaking. That's why I was saying, like, we get it when you mention how that happened. Honey, we have been there, done that, because this is the routine. So that's why I was like, ooh, I'm a little getting cringy now, because we get it. We do understand though. But continue.
We know though how you were introduced to the sector. So we're all aware of.
But yeah,
all
that's
that.
basically where I was going with it.
And I'll be honest with you, I think every woman in the sector decided that we did not want to get involved in that on either side.
And I respect that, because you guys have that right.
Other person, except for the bird and her buddy.
Now the bird is different because none of us fuck with her. Like, I mean, we just don't fuck with the bitch. So I mean, you know,
like some of us just don't have the patience, and we don't have 10.
And again, some of y'all who don't know, the bird is Stargate, just in case anybody didn't know. But let's go ahead and keep going.
Hours to tell her a 2-minute conversation.
Yeah, and she's just, oh God, oh, I can't.
That was a lot. That was like that. She was just a lot, because I've never seen someone get caught in a lie and then double down in a lie and then like triple. I was just like,
that's her MO, and that's Binary's MO.
She does that. That's what they do.
Because I didn't have anything
against validation or Binary. Like, why? I just don't get why a woman would do that to another woman for no reason. Like, I'm just like, is it that you're seeking validation from a man, or did someone put you up to this? Like, I don't know. I guess I was just mind blown, and I was confused, and just to even hear the things that were being said on the panels, like the things that she was saying, I'm like, well, hold on. I thought that you were crying because men were doing the very thing to you that they're doing to me. But yeah, you're excusing it when it's someone else. But when it was you, you were cool with it. You were, you know.
That's the thing.
I don't get it.
I'm a lot of this stuff with the bird, okay, is what it looks like now after us all comparing notes and kind of talking about things and and it's kind of a blessing that we've all kind of been scattered about in different parts of the sector, because we can see, you know, her strategies in some of this. And a lot of this beef that is taking place, I think she quelled a lot of it. I think she created a lot of it. Like for instance, all that beef that was going on between Smoke and Darrell, for instance. Okay. I think a lot of that was created with her. I think she didn't do anything to stop it. I think she liked the attention she was getting from both of the men. I think that she kept up those lies, and she put and roped the women, allowed the women to get roped into that, because, you know, Darrell was willing to say anything to toot her horn in a sense, and he would end up saying stuff to her like, you know, the ladies were just jealous of you, and you know, and different things. And don't get it twisted. There may have been one, and there was nobody on this panel and nobody that's in my chat room right now.
Been gone for a while, huh?
Yeah.
Who was jealous of Star?
May have been, but I think that person was jealous of all the women. Okay. I think that person.
Let me mute myself.
She got Al now, and she has
we're
Al
gonna get
now.
into it. Okay. Like that
let me mute myself.
I do think that person was jealous of all the women, but here I got a couple
I'm
new
sorry.
people on the panel, y'all. We got a powerhouse panel in here.
I have a question. Wait, can Breaking address do without Wilt?
Huh?
I didn't know anything about that.
Okay, guys.
Breaking. Can
We're
you
about
address
to get
do
started,
without
okay? Now hold on.
hold on.
We heard a lot of fluff. We heard a lot of lies. We heard a lot of stuff just now, okay? But we about to get into the tea, the meat of the show, okay? Listen up. And again, Bottom, you were truly a gem in this conversation, and I did highlight your comments. So let's get into it.
Something about Glorion. You see it, T-Free?
No, I don't see it. Hold on.
Where I'm looking
about Glorion's job. Now. You want me to read it?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't see what you're talking about.
Oh, she got it. There it is. It's on the screen.
Okay.
You see it, Breaking?
Hold on, I'm looking. I'm in the chat. Oh, I see it highlighted. You even said that you were going to personally check if Glorion still had her job. That's harassment, ma'am. Just saying. Well, actually, if you want to be correct, I actually already knew who Glorion was. Glorion and I actually work in the same field. And I actually know who Gloriana is. I live in the same state as her. I kind of live close to her. I know exactly who she is. And I actually never harassed Gloriana. I never made videos on Gloriana. I never made any content on Gloriana. All I said when I found out, you know, that her and another young lady were going at it, I don't want to mention who the other person was, but they were going at it, and I'm actually cool with the other party. I said, oh, I know exactly who she is. We were on a panel, and she was like, well, how do you know who she is? And I was like, well, I didn't work with her, but I worked kind of with her. Like, I kind of know who she is. I was like, she's actually like a big dog in a sense. And I was like, but she's like, well, yeah, because she said that she's not working. I was like, well, I mean, if you want, I can check. But that's not harassing her. Harassing her is making unwanted contact with her. Harassing her would be making a lot of content about her. Harassing her would be defaming her. Harassing her would be slandering her. Harassing her would have been me making derogatory comments about her. I actually did none of the sort. But if you can find a receipt of me harassing her,
how you know
drop
you
it.
live close to her?
Because again, I know who she is. I just know who she is. I know
Okay,
who
I
she
got
is,
you.
and I
No,
was
girl,
actually
look, I had to
shocked when
check.
I
Now,
heard.
see, I had to
I'll
check
say
because we
this.
don't know you.
No, because I know who she. I know who she. No, I've never attacked Gloriana ever, actually, ever. And I will wait for the receipt to show where I was just dragging the hell out of Gloriana online, because I'll wait. It never happened.
We are going to take a short break, okay, while that sinks into your mind what that chick just said, okay? A short break, and we're going to listen to a blast from her past while we're taking this short break, okay? And then we're going to get back to the rest of the commentary of the ladies. Let's get into it, guys.
Have had nothing but negative to say about me, I'm going to pray for you. I'm going to pray for you. And then when it comes to Michael Henderson trying to slander me and all this other extra stuff, first of all, let's address that real quick. Michael, stop. You and I have been broken up since 2010. You just want to be relevant in my life. You've seen that I got published, and as soon as you saw that I got published, you went straight to my sister and tried to send her this bogus ass thing, trying to slander me and dog me because you saw that I had finally made it in my career and I'm doing something well. You and I have been broken up. I did not pin a baby on you. Stop saying I pinned a baby on you. You knew what it was, just like my sister went out on a limb, and she didn't even have to justify it or say anything because I didn't give a fuck. Because you've been trying to be relevant for years and you're not. Quit trying to make everything about you. This has nothing to do with you. This is about Victor, not you. You know damn well you knew that he was not yours. You wanted to be with me and you wanted to be a family. You didn't want your family to know that you were with a woman that was with child. That's what happened. You got butthurt because you put your hands on me. Because I tried to go to a party with Renika, and her mom and Bubba and Nika had to come and get me from your house, and I moved out. I don't know what I was doing at the time, but you had Junior. You told us to leave Junior, and we were supposed to come and get him in a couple days from you because I had just moved out the house. You wanted to spend some time with him. After that happened, you quote unquote when I got a DNA test that no one's ever seen. And left my son sitting in my sister's parking lot is what you did. And that was that. Like, stop. Don't make it seem like that it was something that it was not. Don't do that. Actually, Victor Cousins just jumped in my inbox telling me that I need to stop and I clearly need help and all this and all that. I need help, Vic, but are we all lying? That's all I want to know.
Now, keep in mind, this child that she was talking about in that video, she has also claimed doesn't exist. She has also claimed is dead. Okay? Now, we might talk about this in another future video. There's a lot of that stuff going on in the Vixen Chronicles already. If you guys haven't caught up to it, like I said, we have Vixen Chronicles 1 through 5, and there's other videos amongst that playlist that just plays out her character and various things about her. But we're going to go ahead and finish up what the ladies were talking about in regards to what she said. Strap in, guys. We're about to get into.
But I was actually shocked, and I actually said that. I said it. I was like, really? I was like, Glorion did all this? I was like, because I actually know who she is. And people thought I was lying. And I was like, no, I know exactly who this woman is. I was like, I know exactly what she does. I was like, she's actually like looked up to. Like, I know exactly who Shorty is. And I was like, I'm shocked to even hear that she would do that. And I was like, is there any receipts? And I kept asking for the receipts, but receipts didn't get produced. From what I saw, and I was just like, oh, and I left it alone.
Not being produced, so can we say that you were kind of lied to then when it comes to that?
Well, I can't say that I can't say that I was lied to because I don't know, but I will say that I personally never dragged her. I just simply stated that I knew who she was and that I was shocked at what they were saying.
You say you were waiting for the receipts.
Well, I can't say that they lied. They could have just maybe never produced the receipts. I can't say that they lied. I can't say that they didn't because I really don't know. But I was shocked, and I did say that when I was like, really? I was like, because I actually know who she is, and she's actually pretty upstanding from what I know. I know what she does. I was like, her job is like I was shocked. And
can y'all hear me? And also, ladies.
Was that Glorion? Oh, hey, Glorion.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Glorion. How y'all doing, ladies? How y'all doing? I hope we have a good evening.
Hey, Glo.
Hold on a second. If I can get everybody to speak if they want to, I just want to, because I've got like 9 people up here now. So if the ladies who just joined, if you guys can just say hey, because I do have the banner up. I can also take the banner down if you guys want to be seen talking. It doesn't matter.
No, leave it like it is because we don't need to give anybody any thumbnail bullshit.
Yeah. Hey guys, I just wanted to speak. I got a little feedback.
Yeah, you sound. Don't be on the wood
chips like an echo or something.
Okay, well, I just want to
say hi to everybody. Let everybody know that I'm up here. Money to burn. It's up here. Have a little bit to add to the situations that are going on. But I'm up here. I'll just wait my turn. But I just wanted to say hi to everybody up here. Carrie, Breaking the Culture of Silence. Of course, T-Pre, Glow, Keeper, Cutie, and Nikki.
Hello.
Hey,
Nikki. Everybody is doing great.
Miss T-Pre, I'm about to hop down. Can I say something real quick before I go?
Yeah, sure.
And I might hop back up. I want to take my dog for a quick little night walk.
Okay.
I just want to I'm grateful that we're having this discussion, and I'm just hoping we could kind of keep the discussion related to the sector and the direction we want the sector to go, and avoid the temptation to put Breaking the Culture of Silence on trial or whatever for everything that's happened in the past. I mean, I think that's a discussion that might happen at another time, but I just don't want it to devolve into that.
I want to say something about that before we finish the conversation, because as you guys can see, we've had Money to Burn, Keeper, and Glorion join the panel at this given moment. Okay, but I also wanted to say how this speaks to the fact that we are not, one way thinking in our sector, right? All of us have different opinions. We can talk to each other about those opinions and and kind of move on. We don't have to fight and argue back and forth with each other about things. But yeah, we're not one-sided with things, right? We're willing to hear other sides of the story, right? Even though these 3 women had a very, very pertinent part of the story to tell. But at the time, we weren't aware of it, okay? And so that's kind of where we were coming from with that thought process. But let's go ahead and keep going. Let's listen to the remaining of the conversation. But shout out to the ladies of the sector and how diverse we've always been, and how we can always kind of come together and have conversation with one another, and come to an understanding by the end of it. Okay, even if we don't all agree per se, but we do have an understanding, right? And we're mature enough to continue a conversation anyway, and just hear all sides. Let's go ahead and keep going. I just wanted to make that clear, that we're not as rigid like the AFWs are. Okay, we can have our own thought process, have our own way of thinking without fighting with each other, doxing each other, and all this other stuff. Let's go ahead and keep going, though. I agree. I was actually going to say that too.
Thanks, Miss T. I'm gonna hop down.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I was actually going to say that too. And the reason why is because the purpose for me creating this show was because I really wanted the ladies to be able to tell our true experiences of it's been like in the sector. Okay. Because there's a couple of men that feel like they can speak for us. Okay. And also tell us who and what we can support, where we're supposed to be at. You know, you understand what I'm saying? And what we're supposed to feel when it comes to supporting content creators or even just supporting people in general. And
hey, T Pre, can I piggyback off that just for a hot second?
Absolutely.
All right. First of all, I was speaking to everybody. This is Keeper, by the way. I don't play any big significant role. Thanks, T Pre. I appreciate that, but I don't play any big significant role within all of this. But I did have a few questions for breaking the code of silence, if you don't mind. Basically, my questioning is going to be for my own clarification and understanding, being that the women are put on some type of I don't know how I can word it, but I guess we're being challenged as to say, hey, how dare you guys believe this or believe that? You're jumping on the bandwagon for this or that, right? So I just became familiar with the situation, breaking the code of silence between you and Darrell and Star just a couple of days ago, right? So if you don't mind, I'd just like to ask you. Actually, I think it's 3 questions to be specific. No, nothing too pressing. The first question is, how did you come to know D. Darrell?
That's the thing. I don't know D. Darrell.
Well, what I mean by don't know him, what I mean by get to know him, how did you become on his radar and vice versa?
So D. Darrell was doing a live one night about, I don't even remember what he was doing a live about. He was doing a live about something. And
about how long ago was that?
Months ago, like maybe Christmas time, possibly. I could be wrong, but I would say like around Christmas-ish, New Year's-ish, possibly. But anyhow, he was doing a panel about something. I don't even remember what he was doing a panel about, but there was a particular YouTuber that was on the panel, and her friends were in the chat mentioning me, like dragging me and mentioning me in the chat, her and her friend. So me and CTV see our names being mentioned, we're highlighted. So we went over there. So we're listening to the content, and this person that has been harassing me for 2 years is up there yet again harassing me. I'm going to give you guys
a little bit of context on this conversation here. Basically, D. Darrell had several live streams, but one of them was where he had allowed people to come in and give their commentary in regards to what was going on with the Larry Reid situation and the Levontre Andrews story. Okay, so everybody is aware of the fact that Larry Reid has been accused of sexual abuse of multiple men, including like 3 men, and one of them was a child at the time that he was accusing Larry Reid of this, okay, which is Levontre Andrews. Everybody knows this story now because Tasha K has picked up the story, Bishop Whitehead has picked up the story, multiple places have picked this story up at this point, okay? And this conversation has kind of been ongoing within various sectors. Vincent Terrell Hill has now come forward about some things, and it's kind of been like a shit show for Larry Reid for quite some time in regards to this. This is what Breaking the Culture is talking about, because Daryl Moore was kind enough to give Darrell several bits of information, which also was given to me as well. Okay, but he gave him several bits of information, and Daryl was, and as Darrell was looking through this information, he was realizing how credible this information was. Okay, and so he was talking about this stuff on his channel, and Breaking being, I'm sure she's watching this too. Hey, Breaking, everybody say hi to Breaking. Breaking is, she's so fanatical. She watches every single thing, even if, she's just like Anti. She watches every single thing, even if it's something that, she disagrees with, even if it's something that, she's bothered by or she's triggered by. she will still watch it anyway and try to act like she's some victim of this person, okay? Kind of the same thing that the AFWs do. Everything, they watch every single thing, right? And then they literally act like they're a victim of you. And, this is justification for you to turn around and put, improper sleeves on them, improper jackets on them, telling them that they're, sexually harassing them, or, it gives them the opportunity to call your job, these kinds of things, because you're firing darts back at them, okay, for, their bullshit. That's literally what happened, okay? Darrell was not in agreement with what was going on with Conscious TV and Breaking the Culture and them side of the story, okay? He was not going with this whole Larry Reid story. He was going with what the accusers were saying about Larry Reid, and that was just the bottom line, okay? So with that, let me see your transcript. Daryl Moore and some others were in Darrell's chat, and Breaking the Culture, being the fanatic that she was, looking all through the chat, she was all upset that these people were there. This is what she's talking about right now. So let's go ahead and keep going.
Mind you, I haven't said anything up until this point to this person. 2 years, I've been completely radio silent, like absolutely not a peep.
Okay, so
But
now
finally,
this person of 2 years is not Darrell. This is a whole nother
right,
other
this is a person
Okay,
that's
got it.
on his panel. So she's
Okay.
on his panel. And
Mhm.
mind you, they're mentioning me, they're mentioning CTV in the chat. So we come in, we're
Mhm.
looking at the chat, and this woman is up here talking. She's dragging me, and I'm just like, yo, like, it just doesn't stop. So I'm like, yo, CTV, should we jump on the panel? Should we address this finally once and for all? And he's like, let's do it. So we got on the panel. She got off the panel. He asked us, what happened? What's going on? Why is she saying this stuff? So we told our truth. And we told him, if you want receipts, if you want to know, if what we're saying is valid, all the videos are still up. You can look at,
Mhm.
the content for yourself. You don't have to worry about us clipping anything. You can see it raw, loud, live, and in color. So that happens. And then I would say maybe 2 to 3 days after this, like me and CTV coming on this panel, he just starts dragging me and CTV. And that's when the sexual harassment began. It wasn't like, she's not pretty, she's skinny, she's this, she's that. I mean, it was like pure, she's a whore, she spreads her legs for everyone, she's a throat goat, she gets fucked in the ass. Like, it was bad. Like, I'm not
Yeah.
exaggerating. So that's
Wow.
how I got on his radar.
Well, it's funny because it turns out all of that stuff is a fact. Every single thing that was said about her and her whorish ways and the things that she does sexually in dungeons and in hotel rooms of conventions for pastors and multiple things, all of these things are true about her. So, let's go ahead and keep going.
Okay, I appreciate that. And then do you mind how did you get to know that panel was taking place at that time? How did
Because
you
they were
know?
mentioning me in CTV
No,
in
I'm
the
saying,
chat.
how did you know to go over there? Who, did it come in your algorithm, or were you told,
So
hey,
basically
go
they
check this
were
out?
basically they were tagging us in the chat. Like, they were like highlighting us in the chat, I guess, or whatever, or mentioning us in the chat, and people were like, yo, look at what's going on in this chat. So we went and sat in the chat and we watched for a while, and then we finally jumped on.
I want to stop her real quick. I have been mentioned in multiple spaces, okay? As long as I'm not in the actual title, like I'm being tagged in the title, right? I've been tagged in titles before. I've been tagged, like that, then that's something different. Nobody was tagging these people in that chat room. She was watching because Anti sent her there. AAS sent her because AAS watches everything as well. Anti sent her to D. Darrell's chat to watch what was being said. And Breakin was watching because Breakin is just as fanatical as Anti is, okay? Breakin was also following Let Me See Your Transcript around the sector and around other spaces as well, okay? Constantly running this narrative that Let Me See Your Transcript was after her. So that's what really happened. All this stuff about they were constantly highlighting their names and tagging and all this. Keeper and none of them was going for that. Okay. And I want y'all to finish hearing how, Keeper and everyone else handled this conversation with her. Let's go ahead and keep going.
Okay, so other people came and told you guys.
Right. I didn't
what
know
was
that
going on.
Rail even existed at this time. I didn't even know he was a person yet. Like, I didn't know who he was.
Okay, so in other words, you heard from when you were over at Conscious TV's show, there was somebody watching the show and they let, because that was happening. There were people that were.
Yep.
Kind of
We were
blended
live on
between the two
CTV
sectors.
and they were
Yeah.
coming to our, we were live on CTV's panel is what happened. And when we were
Right,
live, people were jumping in the chat and telling us like, yo, like it, and
Do you
it was
have
like some
any
pretty messed up
idea
stuff being said.
of who? Do you have any idea of who this person and or people were? Do you have any
Yeah,
thought
because I
on
would
that?
love to know, because I think that plays a big part in how
Honestly,
a lot of this stuff.
that was so long ago. Like, I'll just be real with you. It was so long ago, and so many people were putting it in the chat. I don't even remember. Like, I'm not even gonna hold
Got
you.
it.
I
I
really don't
appreciate that.
remember.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I
Is
appreciate
that
that. And
video
again,
still up? The funny part is it wasn't that long ago. If it was around Christmas time and this was on March 24th, it was literally like 90 days ago. So it wasn't that long ago.
I don't know, because Rails deleted a lot.
And no, not the Rail
I don't
video.
know.
I'm talking about the Conscious TV video when they were telling you guys that
I
he's
don't know. I mean, I'm assuming CTV doesn't typically pull content down. I just don't remember which live. I mean, the man goes live like every 3 seconds, so I don't remember what live we were in. I just know it was like around. I want to say it was around like Christmas. It was like the Christmas era time.
Okay,
So
December of 2021.
So it would have
Got it.
been like December, January, something like that is when it started.
Okay, and then breaking the code of silence, I would like to pose that same question about Star.
Now,
Well,
before
Star.
I ask that question,
Well, Star.
Before I ask that, let her ask that question. I want you guys to just notice how extremely vague she's trying to be in regards to receipts for this, right? She doesn't want to really produce the receipts because, first of all, we know they don't exist, right? But she wanted to be very vague about where these receipts are. You know, instead of just saying, "Oh yeah, it was this date or this happened this day," right? You have all these details about what happened in that conversation, but you can't seem to remember when it was. You know what I mean? Like, okay, at the end of the day, this is very AFW-like, okay, where they will give you very vague, stories about things, and be very, very, just all over the place about what they're trying to say, and not really directly answering a question or directly giving you a receipt to something. Okay. It's always like pulling teeth, trying to get them to give you a receipt to anything that they say. Let's go ahead and keep going.
Just came on the panel and just lied on me. I don't know.
Like, how long ago was that, maybe?
Well, this was just last week is when I first got into it with Star.
Oh, so you just
time you were familiar with her was just last week?
No, so I'll say this. So I didn't know who Star was. I had come into contact with Binary. This is when I first knew who Binary Code was. I didn't know anything about him. I had just seen him and he would come over to CTV's chat. Mm-hmm. So I remember one day I just happened to click on, I had subscribed to Binary and I just happened to, be on YouTube and I seen he was live and Star was on there, but I didn't know who Star was. I didn't actually know or actually ever speak to Star, know who she was, ever even see the girl's content or anything until I want to say a week ago when me and her got into it. But the night that she was on that panel with Binary, she was saying yeah, she's in Breaking the Culture, sleeps with married men. Yeah, I know for a fact she does. And they were talking about it. And I'm just like, well, who is this chick? So I didn't say anything. I let it go. And then I seen her on another person's panel and she was saying the same thing. So I'm like, who the hell is this girl? But I just never said anything. I let it go. And then when she was being interviewed by CTV, I still didn't say anything. I didn't address her on what she was saying about me or anything. All I said was when she was telling her, she was reiterating her account with Smoke. She was like, yeah, I was not, doing anything wrong. It was all smoke. And I was like, well, you're talking to a man who's married at 3, 4 in the morning. That's sus. And from there, she reiterated again, oh, well, you sleep with married men. Hit the link. So I hit the link.
Okay, so in its totality, you've been knowing of her for about what you say, weeks or a month or how
No,
long?
I mean, I would say Star's been saying this stuff around the same time. It was all because Binary and all of them came around the same time. So it would have been around the same time. It was all within the Christmas, New Year's era. Is
Oh,
when
so
I
you
knew I came across her, but I never watched her content. I never followed anything. I just saw her on a panel. And then I saw her
okay.
on someone else's panel who I happened to follow from y'all sector. It's a woman, so I'm not gonna put her on blast, but she was on that panel and then she was saying the same thing on that panel, but I never like pressed it. I never said anything. I never
Okay, so
even
you guys actually
commented in the
had
chat.
verbal contact within what the last week.
It was in the last week. It's when she was telling her story on CTV's panel, and all I said was she sus. And she tried to say,
Hmm.
"Oh, well, I heard you say it out your mouth." And then we proved to her that I didn't say it and showed her the
Right.
evidence that she didn't know what she was talking about. And I'm like, the
Hmm.
man was never married. I don't know what you're talking about. So if he
Right.
was never married, I couldn't have said it because he wasn't even married. And she
Okay, and
just
I
kept
have one more
going.
question. Uh, I want to pose the same question for AAS as well. And a second part of that question is, what is that relationship like today?
Well, I'm not going to speak on AAS because apparently that's a sore spot for everybody. And again, I have not gotten involved. I don't
Well,
know what
I
she
don't
has
know
done,
AAS. I
hasn't
don't
done.
know. Yeah, I don't know
I'll
AAS.
say this: she genuinely hasn't. All I can say with AAS is this: AAS and I again connected based upon this person who stalked me for 2 years. Um, she has supported me,
Okay,
so I
well,
had no.
yeah, yeah.
Well,
So
you're
I don't
asking
I
what our
don't have
relationship is.
well, I don't have clarification on when did you come to know AAS and how that relationship is today. You're basically telling me the history of the relationship.
Right. I'm telling you
Um,
how I got to know her. I got to know her based upon this person that was stalking me. Me and her connected around the same time. We all connected around the same time. Is when we all derail, star, all that. We all kind of, it was all in that same time frame.
December,
Um,
January.
Around ish, yeah, something like
Okay.
that. And
Mm-hmm.
she came in support of me, like, hey, I understand how you're feeling about this person, whatever. She never did nothing to me. I don't have no smoke with her. I don't have no beef with her. I don't know what she's done, hasn't done. It's not really my situation to know. Only AAS can speak for AAS. But as far as
Mm-hmm.
how our relationship is now, I'm mad cool with her. I don't have no beef with her. I don't have no issues with her because she hasn't done anything to me. And I'm not just going to not like her because everyone else don't like her. But then I also
Yeah.
let her know the same thing, just because you don't like a person doesn't mean that I have to not like them. Like there are people that she doesn't like that I like. I know that there are
Mm-hmm.
people on this panel that you guys don't get along, but that's not going to stop me. Like I know her and T don't get along, but I like T's
Absolutely.
content. I
Yeah,
actually
yeah,
been
yeah.
watching T. I watch T for her psychic stuff. I've been a
Yeah,
subscriber of T for a
absolutely.
minute,
And I
and
Okay,
appreciate
I
that.
didn't know that.
I
Yes.
have one more question. Will you expound on how Gloria Murray came to be on your radar?
well, what you mean as far as just like on YouTube wise, how she came on my radar?
Yes.
She came on my radar just because her and another YouTuber had got into another person that I know from YouTube had got into it, like a situation that they were dealing with. And when they said the name, I was like, that's not the same person. And I looked and I'm like looking at the picture and I'm like, oh snap. And I again was like, what? Like
Do
that's
you care to?
shocking. Like
The other person that she knows is Anti. So we all already talked about how Anti was forging documents and creating all kinds of issues on Glorion. This is who she's talking about. Let's go ahead and keep going.
To
I don't
name that
believe that.
person? Do you care to
No,
name
because
that
I'm not trying to
person?
be messy. No, because I didn't come here
Wow.
for drama or to be messy.
Okay. Well, it was just basically for my clarity, because if I'm going to pass judgment on someone, I'd definitely like to know some type of history about them. You know what I mean? But I thank you for that. I thank you for that.
Yeah, but no, it's not. And again, I don't have no beef with Gloria. Gloria ain't never do nothing to me. And again, like I said, for her industry, she was a bad bitch. Like I knew exactly who she was when they showed me a picture. I was like, no way. I actually looked up to her in the industry. So I was like, that's shocking or whatever. And that's what I said. I said that. I was like, hmm. But as far as her, I don't have no beef with her. I don't
Yeah.
know her. I never made any content about her. Never talked about her. went on one panel, heard what was said, and that was it.
Can I say something to kind of redirect the topic back to the division between women? Okay, so
thank you. Yes.
Thanks, twin. Go right ahead.
All right. So we have established on this panel that there are men that try to dictate how a lot of us females interact with each other. And we typically, as women, even as younger women, we fall out, we make up, he said, she said, and we get past that point, right? What I also wanted to point out, how women can cause that division too. And as you guys speak about this woman, there's a woman also in this sector that Breaking the Culture does not know about, that has also caused a severe division also. And that is why it's kind of hard. It's a sore spot for a lot of the women in the sector, because it's bad enough when a male is causing division against women, right? Using us, trying to manipulate these storylines and make things happen. But then when you have a woman who goes into other sectors and bring people over to attack the women that are here, that is where we're at right now, it feels like, because that's what it seemed like has happened. And then we're all like kind of, merging together behind what the men are doing. But at some point, we have to address the elephant in the room, because as women, we should not be this divided. Like we have difference of opinions, right? We have different ways of thinking. We all have that. And we can go back and forth. But when you have a woman who is like behind the scenes and doing things and spinning storylines and narratives without any proof and causing a lot of conflict between women, and it's actually, she is supposed to be skilled at actually conflict resolution. And it hasn't been a conflict resolution. And a lot of these beefs that a lot of the women are having in this sector, or the stuff that we experience in these chat rooms, were caused by this one person. And because if I'm rocking with a content creator, and then I have a woman making videos about me, right? Or saying that, us women are doing this and doing that, that is a problem. Like we have a Smurfette in the sector, but then we also have a very another demonic being in the sector that is doing the same thing.
A Gargamel and an Azrael.
Yeah, so we have.
Well, I have a question based on that then. Like, to piggyback off of what you're saying, how do you guys feel about women sitting on panels with men just attacking women? Like sitting on a panel full of men just talking about women in general, like sexualizing them, sexually harassing them, talking about their uterus. How do you guys feel about that?
But can you cover the part that Joe just brought up? Because I think where she was going to go with it, that lady talked sexual harassment and sexual things about people.
Let me finish. I have never sat on a panel, like all the women that are sitting like on this panel with you have never sat on a panel with men harassing women. Now, we frequent chats of men who have done that, and we disagree with it, but we have never sat on a panel where the man is sitting there harassing that woman. And what happens is that that's where you're caught off guard, because you come on the panel and you're there talking, and next thing you know, two people who are from a different sector or maybe a different chat comes up there and then they start ranting, and then you're just sitting on the panel. Normally I just fall off.
Me too.
Sometimes people are in the chat and they're just in the chat and they're not even listening to the content creator. So the thing about it is that, yeah, there have been situations where women were on panels. I'll give you an example. There was the whole couch potato going at Tiffany Griff, and they were going back and forth. I wasn't on the panel. I wasn't in that chat or anything. I just saw a replay of the video, and I was shocked that that happened. So it just is then we go back to that channel, and not every last one of us is sitting here watching play by play. Like, I never got breaking the culture. I never got to see the video of what D. Darrell did to you, right? I never got to see it. He took it down before I could see it. You did the video. I didn't get to see it. I had to hear it like second or third hand, right? And so I didn't have a strong opinion or anything because I'm just listening to what, I'm listening to it in real time. You can't assume that everybody in the sector is catching every little thing that occurs or happens. We're not sitting here recording videos consistently on a daily basis and downloading. Now, I'm the chat sector, so I do the chat, but we're not doing that. So, but there is someone in the sector that is doing that. And she's doing that consistently. She's catching word for word and piecing things together. And that has caused a lot of tension. And we're all putting it together. I mean, you're new here, so I'm not even holding you accountable for this. I'm talking to all the ladies in our sector where we feel like this has happened. Now, I'm not giving you the side eye or anything. Do I feel like there's some manipulation on this lady's part when it comes to you? Yes, I do believe that. I believe that she uses a lot of manipulation. I've been watching for a very long time. I'm that person. But what I'm saying is I'm not holding you to the fire because of that. What I'm saying is that we're all coming together and combining with each other. And we're saying it's wrong for any woman to be sexually harassed online or stalked or even talked to in that way. We all agree that that should never happen. But we also have a woman in the sector has done the same thing. I have never sexually harassed a woman in the sector or talked a woman under her clothes and made a video about it. I have a channel too. I have never made a video making comments, saying things like that. But I have attacked one woman in the sector because I feel that there's manipulation. And I see something wrong, I'm going to call it out.
Okay, well, I agree, and I do think that that is true, right? But here's my problem with what and where the direction of this conversation is going, okay? The whole issue that I had with LV this morning was the fact that he literally took another situation that went on in the sector to fight breaking the culture of silence in her situation with Darrell, which is a real situation, okay? Right. And that has always happened with the women. Our voice is constantly silenced, including AAS's. Let's keep it real.
But do you feel that that's because we're giving, and when I say we, I mean women as a whole, do you feel that these men are as comfortable as they are because women as a whole, we have given them the space to get that comfortable?
Yes.
Yeah. I think
that point.
I definitely think that we did not do a good job of setting boundaries, and when the sector really started heating up around COVID, so we didn't do a good job of setting boundaries at that point. And now we're at a point where we're like, fuck this. It's some things that need to be changed. The women, we already know we're the ones that run the sector. So we just may have to just break off from these dudes and let them do whatever stupid shit that they want to do. And we stay over here in our corner and do what we need to do for us to collectively get along and to make things happen and make a good space for us women. Because I'm at the point where I'm like, we don't even need these dudes because they're not doing anything but stressing us out, causing extra problems.
But look what happened when Carrie was the voice of reason for that exact thing that you're saying, Money. Carrie was the one who wasn't even a part of the sector like that, right? That was her whole idea. Like, she saw in the women that they were so much more and kept putting it out there. Hey, what's up?
So much more to offer.
Yes. And then Eyes came along and she got dogged out immediately just for saying the WNP. Was that right? WPN, the Women's Power Network or whatever.
Oh yeah,
it was like, they made a mockery. And the whole thing is, so see, this thing today and yesterday, no, it's not a division between the sexes at all. It's always been, we were kept down. And like you said, the boundaries weren't set. But at the same time, how confident are these men with themselves to even to knock down Carrie and Eyes' idea?
They're not very confident, and it seems like there must be a level of them being afraid, or maybe they don't want to feel left out, or they don't want to feel stupid. I don't know, but if we leave and we do,
I do agree with that. I agree with that.
Yeah, I think if we leave and
people
do our
are scared.
own thing,
I want to preface this by saying too that a lot of sentiments that are being said right now have definitely changed by, with many people. But we're getting to the meat, guys. I'm playing all this for a reason. So let's go ahead and keep going. But yeah, a lot of things have definitely changed around here. Let's go ahead and keep going now.
Yeah, a lot of women don't want to come on the panel. I remember when I first came on Smoke's panel and he was having ladies' night, I felt uncomfortable, so I didn't do that. And the reason why is because I felt like I'm not cattle. This man is ranting back and forth and licking his chops. And then the men were coming in there making comments. And I thought, I don't want to be up here like this. And so, yeah, I moved the way I moved. And, I can't expect people to move the way I do. But I do not agree with what LV said. It's like comparing apples to oranges. Carrie said it's a false equivalency.
Yep.
And people like us are allowed to self-correct. And that's what, I don't understand why people in the Black community, Black women, Black men, why we can't self-correct. Why can't we say, you know what? At first it seemed like it was fun, it was a good idea, but look what it turned into. So let's turn this around. Let's self-correct. Let's change some things. Why can't we do that? And when I was talking about her, I was saying that the manipulation with men has a lot to do with it. I'm not saying that she's attacking women. I'm saying that it's always been behind a male. If it's not, her little friend, or the whole, this is the Umar Johnson sector, it was always behind a man. And I'm not saying that the men here are bad. There's a lot of decent men in the chats that have panels, that have, they're decent, but they're not perfect either. But we just have to, hold them accountable. Some things ain't worth laughing at. When I realize that a person is preying on people and making sly comments that are inappropriate, I'll either say something. I remember, and I'm going to bring this up because this happened to Spottum. I remember Spottum had said something to somebody and they all held Spottum to the fire. Remember that in the sector? Everybody did. Spottum apologized, and to this, he was allowed to self-correct. And now everybody's cool with him. So it's not,
except for when they get mad at something that they disagree with him saying, then it goes back to Blackheart, demon, all that stuff.
Right. But see, that goes in one ear out the other. You have to think about it, QT. Who are the only people that are trying to throw that situation back up in Spottum's face? People that don't like him.
Joe was talking about.
Exactly. People that don't like him. Because okay, sorry. Go on ahead.
So what I was saying is, I think the men in the sector are redeemable. I don't think that we should, we're not saying don't deal with this person or deal with that person. We're addressing what we've seen and how we can move forward and really look at what goes on when we're chatting or we actually are on panels. We don't have to participate but we don't need to be abused when we chose not to. Some people might not say anything because they just, like me, some things I ignore. Like I'm not going to his chat if
and some
he
of us
talks like
just
that.
unsub. And even in doing that, that's hypocrisy. We're fake. But that's our way of silently saying, this is not for me. And we should all be allowed to do that as adults.
But that's the thing, people aren't giving people the room for that. And that's what I've been screaming for literally 2 years, where I'm literally screaming, I'm allowed to say that I don't want to participate in something, and me not wanting to participate in that does not give you the right to harass me. That does not give you the right to do what you're doing. And that's the problem. People are scared. Like, I remember when I first came into this sector, and I remember just being in just other, like, some chats, like, I remember I said something in the chat and I was just like telling my experience of a person that I had in the chat, and they was like, oh, well, you ain't going to get help over here because this is the norm. This is what we do. And I was just like, well, hold on. This is a group full of people that are just okay with like this type of behavior and this type of thing. And then to see so many women supporting it, I was just confused because it's just like, so basically the women aren't setting boundaries, because the fact that this man felt so comfortable coming for me the way he did, he was given that comfort. He didn't just get that comfort overnight. Like, that was something that he built up to get to that point, to even do these things, making songs about women, whether we like the women or dislike the women. Like, if, like, you guys know there's a particular person in your group that I don't like, but if I saw her completely just being like, if people were like, yo, I'm gonna stick a dildo in her mouth and I would be like, hold on, y'all doing too much. Like, that's not cool. Like, the thing is that these people are given space to do these things, and that's why the men feel so comfortable. There were a few men that did stand up and say like, yo, dude, you were wrong, but there's not enough men checking each other. There were a couple that did, but I just feel like the women are allowing it, and that's why they're so comfortable, because they wouldn't, like, I know in my personal life, none of the men in my personal life are going to sit around and call me bitches and whores. Why? Because they know that I have boundaries. You know what I mean? Like, they wouldn't do that to me because I've set the boundary. Like, I've set the expectation. But
what boundaries has this church whore that works in the dungeon set for men to show any respect to her? What is she talking about? What? Okay, go ahead. Let's keep going.
Just feel like, and not even just in your guys' sector.
I mean, we're talking about the same woman whose man is a cuckold and allows her to sleep with other men for his pleasure. What are you talking about?
Happen in my sector. I've seen it happen. Heck, I've seen it happen in the mommy sector. Like, I'm like, dude, we over here talking about parenting. How y'all over here cussing each other out and calling each other whores, and we over here talking about kids and cookies and stuff? Like, teach me how to make a lunch. Like, what are you doing?
If I can speak to that real quick, because I actually today, I had a lot of the men in the sector that reached out to me either by email or by by comments or whatever the case may be. I was really surprised, and shout out, like I said, to most of the men in the sector, because a lot of the men in the sector are not tolerating this. And they did speak about it. Now, the ones who had, emailed or whatever I got, I'll tell you, a lot of them said that they do not want to be that man that has to go back and forth with some grown ass 40-plus-year-old man. You understand what I'm saying? On YouTube, and have this public drawn out, brawl with this man. And I totally understand that, because that is the reason why most of us women have not spoken up. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because I even went through an experience like that, where I said, I made a video, and really I wasn't, in my mind, I wasn't disrespecting this man. You understand what I'm saying? I didn't feel like I had disrespected him. I felt like I had spoke the truth, okay? And I was speaking so much truth that it turns out that a lot of that is actually true now. Most people agree with what I actually said, but I got dragged around in these YouTube streets for a couple of months. You understand what I'm saying? Over me just simply saying what I felt about something. And I didn't call him out his name. I didn't know, like, fuck you. Like, none of that came out. I was just talking about what actually happened. You understand what I'm saying? Which was there was a bunch of trolls, and part of that had a lot to do with people striking his channel. And next thing you know, and people sending him community strikes and copyright strikes over and over again. Next thing you know, YouTube snatched his channel. And I said so. I made a video about it. I got dragged all over fucking YouTube for that. You understand? By a man. A whole man.
Shock him, y'all. Shock him.
You understand what I'm saying?
Well, and that's the thing. That's what makes it worse, because you don't come across to me as the type of woman that is like rah rah, and you're like in a bunch of dudes' faces back and forth with them. So it can be intimidating, especially when it's a man attacking you simply for having an opinion.
That's what I'm saying. And like I said, I wasn't disrespectful. I didn't feel like I disrespected him or any of that. It's just some men, and I'm not speaking to him because I think everybody would know who I'm talking about in the sector. I'm not speaking to just him, but there's a lot of men in this sector who are very fragile, okay? And when you say anything, they just really get in their bag, like in their feelings about you just speaking the truth. You understand what I'm saying? And really, you're just giving them good advice, or you're telling them something. You're not saying anything out, calling them out their name or anything crazy. You just so women. I learned from that, from that experience alone. Like, I don't got shit to say to you niggas. You understand what I'm saying? Like, okay, you want to jump off a fucking cliff out here? That's your business. But when it comes to the women, you're not going to keep dragging women all over the damn place, especially the way that shit came out with D. Darrell the other day. I just thought that was just so over the top. And I understand why men are not jumping up in these men's face, because they don't want to get into an all-out, drawn-out brawl with niggas, and you getting doxxed and you getting all this. Nobody wants to go through that. You understand what I'm saying? So now that we are going in this direction, what are we now going to do? I really think that the women and the men need to change the tone of the sector. If niggas is out of line and doing that shit, we're not tolerating that shit. Why are y'all still sitting around kikiing and laughing over that stuff? And this is the nigga that's actually, I have to say that the sector has come a long way since then. There has been some stuff, that has come up, of course, since then. We've had our own kerfuffles and issues and stuff like that. But the sector has come a long way since then. So, but let's go ahead and keep going. Representing you for the sector. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, y'all got to draw the line somewhere. The men in the sector are going to have to start speaking up, because the women do not want to be windmilling these grown-ass men. Like, I don't. I know y'all might have heard me cuss a couple of these niggas out, and I don't have no problem doing that. But I don't want to do that, because they're not my damn son. You understand what I'm saying? I shouldn't have to discipline these niggas. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's weird. And I really need the men to kind of step up a little bit more with this, and checking these men, or, and not being so quick, LV, to check the women, because that was ridiculous. I'm sorry.
Well, I found it interesting that he used my whole picture, posted me, dragged me, and I'm like, okay.
And I'm like,
why to this man? Why are you not addressing him? I'm like, you ain't addressing him.
Exactly. He had no stake in that whatsoever. But these men in the
my
sector,
thing is, I could see if I had.
Some of the men in the sector are used to when one of the quote unquote prominent men in the sector go in on a woman, they all hop on the bandwagon. You understand what I'm saying? But I think most of the men looked at that situation and knew that wasn't smart. You understand what I'm saying? Number one, you're not part of this sector, so you're not used to this type of stuff. And this is what I've been trying to explain to some people for a long time. Other sectors are not doing some of the shit that people are doing in this sector. You understand what I'm saying? So, I mean, even though other people do, but most sectors are not doing some of these rules that this sector has come up with. You understand what I'm saying? So this stuff is foreign to people. And so for Darrell to have done that and to be going in on a woman, like as if you ain't got no problem contacting some folks over him. You understand what I'm saying? And that you're not going to be subjected to people like Stargate might be, or like people in this sector might, just pipe down and not say much. I don't understand. I guess that's where he gets that from. Is that,
Well, and I feel like if we don't stand up, they're gonna keep doing it, and that's the whole point. It's like you gotta stand up, and people are like, "Oh, you're a punk. You're gonna get the
No,
law involved," or
sometimes
"Oh, you're
it's
a punk.
okay
You're
just
gonna do
to.
this," and it's like, no, you
What
can't
about
keep
just
doing
walking
this.
away sometimes? Because I get what you're saying, but this is the other part of it too. It almost plays into what you were talking about, how you see panels and women are going in other women with the guys. See, that's the type of shit that happens over here. So let's just say, for example, you know, people want to call Darrell out, the women, right? Just say, hey, I don't like that, or whatever the case may be. Understand he has other women who will then come at you. And it's going to not just be the women who are down with him, it's going to be the guys too. And it's just a never ending cycle, And that's why I'm just kind of like, I liked the idea of what Carrie and Eyes were talking about. There are, pockets of female channels now. And see, in my opinion, it's like, okay, like this type of situation, do a live, do a panel. And when you see the foolishness, it's just like click block. It's just that, do that. And then we can't worry about the next day what the sound bites will be. Because see, that's us playing.
Well, that's the thing, but I'm not gonna be quiet and I'm not gonna ignore it, because if we keep
No,
ignoring
I'm
it
not
and we
talking
keep
about you. I'm
being
talking about this
quiet, no
sector. Not,
one's
yeah, I'm
gonna.
talking about this
But
sector.
I'm
Like,
saying just in
yeah.
general, as women though, that's the problem. Women are so used to taking L's all the time. Like we're so used to being silenced.
If you
We're
have
so
your own
like
channel,
seriously.
it's not taking an L in my
But it's not
opinion.
about but it's not about. I don't mean it as far as sector to sector. I don't mean
Yeah.
it. When I say we're taking L's, I'm saying as far as we're constantly being disrespected, we're constantly
Right.
being berated, we're constantly like, and it's never ending. And I feel that the reason why is because people won't speak up. Like for instance, when I spoke up about what happened to me 2 years ago, which the situation that made me go viral to where I'm even on the internet. If I would have remained silent and I would have been quiet, so many women would have been more harmed than when I spoke up. And like, sure, it sucked. And I went through pure hell. I went through being dragged. I went through hell, like hell. But me speaking up helped a lot of people in the end. And I was able to shut it down to where that person is no longer doing, or he doesn't have the scale, or he doesn't have the platform to do what he was doing. I cut it short. I chopped it short to where his victims became less. He didn't have a praying ground, as I would like to call it. He didn't have praying grounds because I stopped it. I took the praying grounds from him. And it's like, okay, now you got to go find somewhere else to go. You're not going to mess with people over here. You got to do something somewhere else. And now you don't have the name or the clout or whatever to do what you do, because now people know who you are when they see you. And I just personally feel like if we keep being silent, it's literally the whole what happens in this house stays in this house. That is deadly. To me, that is deadly. That is why so many people are damaged, because that is such a toxic thing. Like, no, if these people are doing this stuff to women, women have to speak up or it's never going to stop. It's never going to stop.
I agree with you in real life, but in this, I just,
But how is this not real life? But how would it's like, for
because
instance, with
okay,
Darrell,
I'll explain. Now, what you're going through with him, that's real life, because you have to follow through with what you have to follow through with because of what happened. Yes, that's real life. Okay, in my opinion. What I was talking about when it comes to, because, and I'm just talking about this sector, okay?
I want to explain the significance of why I'm playing all this. Okay, we are going to get to the part. I know there's a part in here where Glorion actually confronts Breakin'. Okay, but I wanted to play all this too because it's very important to understand that Breakin' was sent after multiple people within our sector. D. Darrell is one of those people. Okay, Let Me See Your Transcript is another one of those people. I'm another one of those people. Okay, so we need to hear all of this stuff. Every single one of these things is part of this, of this series and why this stuff is going on, okay? And how Breakin' tried to play on the minds of the women here, and pretend that, she was like coming in, on this soft-spoken, meek individual, who's being picked on, and, she needs sympathy from everybody, okay? And I want you guys to hear all this. So let's go ahead and keep going. We don't have much longer, but I just want you guys to hear this.
Okay, just keep that in mind.
I'm working in the
I'm
background.
talking about this sector on YouTube. We can get on about our damn business. And when I say moving on, because we're having this conversation now, right? So this is us talking about it, putting it out there. I'm saying I don't need every day, right, to whenever a man has something funky to say about a female, the need to go and check them when I don't need to be over there in the first place. That's what I meant, because we're now even with this conversation establishing something that could be a great thing for women. And by that, I mean, moving on to our space as women where we can talk about what we want to talk about, feel free and comfortable in what we want to talk about. And the next day, we don't care about what sound bites you have. Why? Because we're not messing with you anyway, because you ain't shit. That's what I'm saying. If we move like that as a collective, see, that takes that power away. That's just my feeling on it, because we're making progress.
Agree with that. Yep. Like we just, like, I've already started that that trend of just not tuning in. You understand what I'm saying? I can care less. I don't even know if LV created a response video or not, because
and breaking story just helped us all out. Do you agree? Do you agree, T-Pre, that by breaking what she's doing right now, having brought this to light, you just helped us all? That's what I'm saying. You did the work, and that's what I'm saying. We don't have to go back and forth anymore, because this is out there now. You see, we all got a wake up call.
Yeah, I agree. That's why I think you were a very important part of this conversation, breaking the culture, because you definitely, the situation with you and Darrell is what kind of spearheaded this. You know what I mean? And it's unfortunate that it took this and it took this long, but I'm glad it did. And I'm glad it's all coming out. And I think everybody in the sector can kind of learn something from this. You know, we've been really quiet about some things, and we can still remain quiet. We don't have to go back and forth with folks. If that's what niggas want to do, they want to jump off a cliff, let them do that shit by themselves. I made that very clear in that video the other day, that I know how to let people be on an island alone. You understand what I'm saying? If that's what you want to do, I can't stop you. I have refused to let my blood pressure be run up going back and forth with you every day on what you feel. You can make any video you want, say whatever you want, but I promise you that if collectively as a whole, if the people in the sector who have their minds right would just simply not tune in, I promise you that would fuck with your numbers. So, and I know it would. So I'm done with it. You understand what I'm saying? And I do think that we should definitely, and I'm not into cancel culture per se, but when it comes to this, I really think niggas need to understand some shit. Okay? That we are no longer going to tolerate the disrespect and the dragging and the behavior. We're also not going to be silent on conversations and situations. If you do something that is egregious and we feel like we want to speak on it, we are going to speak on it, and we are going to back each other. We're not going to, if you want to be the fool to jump out in the fucking pit in the fire, that's your business. If you get burnt, that's your problem. Okay? Because we are definitely going to speak on some shit. And I refuse to let any of these niggas or anybody silence me out here. That's just that.
And again, we got some real men who will jump on board with us too. We don't forget that part. There are some real men.
Yes, they are.
There are some real men.
Real men.
I will say, I don't know if you guys. I will say there was one guy that, and I don't know how everybody feel about the person. I don't really know the person, but I will say shout out to Propane, because I will say from what I saw, for me, like, he immediately was just like, for what I saw, he was the first person. I'm not saying he was the first person, but from my eyeballs and my ears, he definitely checked the situation, and he was just like, right is right and wrong is wrong. I could say the girl ain't do nothing to you. There was no reason for you to go that far. And like, so I definitely know for a fact that there are men that will stand up for women. And again, I'm not even saying that people have to cancel this guy. I'm not saying that people have to not talk to him, have to deal with them. People can do whatever they want to do. But as for me, you're not going to keep doing this to me when I'm not doing anything to you and think that it's okay. I'm going to press the gas and I'm going to do what I need to do because I asked you to stop so many times. And then you just went overboard. And then you keep lying about it. Like, I didn't say anything. All I said was she's skinny. No, you didn't. If that's all you said, I've been hearing I'm skinny since I was like 2. You know what I mean? Like, that's fine, but that's not what you did. And it's just like, I just want people to understand that it's not okay. Like, you don't have the right to just keep attacking people and thinking that, like, people just want to bully you in silence. And it's like, no, I'm not going to be silent. You don't get to do that anymore. So
that's what
I'm
they've
not,
been used
again,
to. That's what they've been
like,
used
I'm
to,
not
but it's a
asking
new
people
day. It's
to
a new
cancel the
day, and we're
man or
not letting that
nothing.
happen no more. Let me let a couple other people talk. There's been a few ladies on the panel that have not had a chance to really talk yet. Glorian and also Money to Burn.
Yeah, I'm here.
I also want to say something too, Miss T. Free, because I'm about to go to bed.
Okay, Nikki, if you wanted to go ahead, Nikki, you can say what you want to say if you wanted to jump off. I appreciate you being up here tonight too.
My pleasure. You know, I like, you know, being around good people and having some stimulating conversation. But no, Glorian, go ahead and go.
Okay.
Oh no, I mean, I wasn't gonna say anything spectacular because T. Free already said it. So it's like, but I guess the thing I can't wrap my head around is, like, with us in Star, it was personal. Like, we've been around here for a minute, but then to me, it's an all of a sudden type of thing with breaking the, I keep on wanting to say breaking the code of silence. I know that's not right, but to me, it was kind of like left field because she was just over there and she was just chopping it up with everybody with Conscious TV and Knockout Media, and it was like things were just good just a week ago. So my thing is, there was nothing personal between you two that led to the lies or whatever. Because with us, she had, I wouldn't say like a friendship or whatever, but there was communications between us and her, whether it was online or offline. So that's what I'm still trying to figure out, the why part of why she came at you so hard. I mean, if you have an insight to that, I mean,
are you talking about me? Are you talking about me coming hard at someone?
No,
or
her coming hard at you, like the whole beef and the whole
this
thing
is
in general.
Glorian, right? You're Glorian, right? Well, first for you go, I do want to say what I said to you in a private chat, because I feel since I did come for you publicly, I can be a woman and apologize to you publicly. Again, as I said in the back chat, if you felt that I did anything to you that was hurtful or harmful, I will say, because you genuinely never did anything to me. And as I said, I know exactly who you are. And what I said in the back chat, when I was shocked, because I was like, I know exactly who she is, and I'm shocked. This is weird. Like, is this really true? But you're right. I did take something that was given to me and I ran with it, and I was wrong for that. So I can definitely tell you from the bottom of my heart, I apologize if I offended you or hurt you in any way.
Thank you.
Because you didn't deserve that, not from me anyway. You didn't deserve it from me.
What I really thank you for that. I really do appreciate that. And I just want to say before I get back to what we was talking about, like, I can honestly say, as a sector in the whole, we did choose sides, and we choose sides because we liked the person that we were siding with. And a lot of us saw that, you know, that person or people were moving funny, so we backed out of it. And then those very same people got mad and they started doing what they was doing, and, you know, talking about people, lying on people, and the whole 9 yards. So me, myself, I don't hold things that deeply within, but I do appreciate your apology. And there's no smoke between me and you. I understand and I get it, because she has done that with a lot of people. And the moment that you disagree or say something is wrong or you shouldn't go about it that way, that stirs up problems between her and that person. So, you know, and I never tell people who to be friends with or anything like that. I just tell them be careful. And that's all I got to say with that situation. But like I was saying, like,
all right. So I definitely wanted to play that. I wanted to play a lot of that conversation just based off of what Breaking the Culture came into this sector to do, the people that she came into this sector to attack, okay, including D. Durrell, which again, there has never been any paperwork that she has put up against him. She's never sent him for any litigation, nothing. Nothing ever came of any of those allegations that she had against Durrell, okay? And honestly, none of us really saw any actual evidence. We never got any actual evidence of her from her, you know, showing that D. Durrell was harassing her for months and, you know, making panels and attacking her and all this other. None of that stuff was happening. He did make one video. It was one video where after her and Star, she embarrassed Star on Conscious TV's channel. And after that, Durrell made a video knocking Breaking the Culture out, okay? And none of us women really like that too much. That's kind of how that went, okay? But the bottom line is all of these things that she's claimed, you know, in regards to what she was going to do and how she had all this evidence of everything. Where's the evidence? We're still waiting in 2024 for this evidence that she claimed she had on Let Me See Your Transcript in 2020, in 2021, I believe 2019. None of that stuff has ever come forward, okay? You know, and then I also wanted her to admit, because Glorion hit the panel, but Glorion asked her questions in the back chat, okay? In the back chat, Breaking the Culture apologized to her, and then she went out and publicly apologized to her again for doxing her information. The information was given to Breaking by yours truly, Anti-Afro Svengali. She gave that information to Breaking in regards to a picture of Glorion. She wanted to know where Glorion worked at. She wanted to know information on Glorion, all because Glorion simply did not want to fool with the AFWs and the funny ways that they were moving in these streets, looking up people's information, doxing people for no reason, not even concerned about Umar Johnson anymore, concerned about anything concerning him, but anybody that disagreed with the AFWs is who she wanted to go after. People like Glorion and others realized that and no longer wanted to deal with anti. There was a mass exodus of, you know, the AFWs, and we are going to talk about that in a future video of in the Chronicles. Or in this series. So I do appreciate everybody for being in the building this morning. I am going to get to work. I've been kind of trying to work in the background a little bit, but I really want to get deep into this now. So make sure you guys do hit the like button on the way out. We are going to do I'm trying to do the evidence room docket tomorrow, where we will add more evidence to the docket. And then we are also going to be doing a Survivor series interview on Saturday at 4:30 p.m. We have another one on Sunday at 3 p.m. And then we're going to do the TikTok video at 5 p.m. on Sunday. Okay, that way we can get that all out of the way. And guys, I appreciate y'all for being in the building. I will talk to you guys later. And peace, guys. Thank you guys again for your patience and for watching.